We can't tell.
Good. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to this Friday's edition of the Sippin' Chat. Sippin' Chat. It's Friday with the Sippin' Chat. That sound like a good song?
It sounds we can go with that.
We can go with that. I can't sing, so I don't want to take you too far. We might lose all our viewers. What we got going on, Big Mike?
He get quiet when you call him Big Mike.
I know. Like, what's that do to you?
Now we know what to say this to keep him
to make him quiet.
Yeah,
that ain't gonna last long. Trust and believe.
It won't last too long.
All right,
it's just catching them off guard right now.
Got you.
So Doc is handling some business that's important to the household that she reside in. So that means, Miss Payne, you gotta rock it out and say how you living, how's your week, what you sipping on.
I have a combination. Well, actually, combination of cups. I have the blue and the green cup. I was gonna have something different.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Just for you, Daryl. Just for you.
Yes, let's get it started.
I was just gonna bring in my cherry tart juice, but I said no. He was playing around too much in the group, so let me battle up.
Let you get ready for the battle.
Yeah. But my week went strong. It went strong, and I was looking forward to tonight, so I can cruise out for the weekend. So
that's what's up. Good. That's what's up. I didn't share. I am with my 18 and some juices, which makes it very bad for the food police. But listen,
it's just Daryl.
Right now, the other food police might join us. Who knows?
Oh yeah.
Daryl, how you rocking? You got your equipment going on again? How was your week?
Hey, week was good. Fairly good week. I mean, nothing too crazy, but it was a good week.
Okay. All right. Nothing too crazy?
Nah, not nothing too crazy. It was just it was actually a good week. I had a good week, I feel. So okay. That's all that matters. And now I get the cherry on the top.
Oh, that's what's up. You're so complimentary.
I
heard April. You heard April's side, right?
I know. I get it. She know we kindred spirits.
Stop saying that. We are not.
More. We definitely are. We definitely are.
Y'all starting to agree more?
Absolutely. It was always that way. She was just.
Oh, all right. Because wait, you got your count, April. You can't agree to this week too many times.
Yeah,
or no times.
You're right.
She's over that.
You got about 3 shows, Daryl.
Oh goodness, Doc.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
All right, how you doing?
I'm okay.
You made sure that the address is all situated?
Yes, ma'am.
I know that's right, because we come in peace, not pieces. How's your week going and what you sipping on?
My week is going really good. Let me see, what am I sipping tonight? I got some Jim Beam vanilla.
Oh.
Yeah, something a little different.
Happy anniversary to you.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah. Happy anniversary.
Thank you. Thank you.
How many years are you representing the relationship flow with?
16.
Cool.
Amen to that.
Yes.
16.
That's some work.
Look, hallelujah.
You know that you have a daughter that's 30, so.
Absolutely. No. Things happen that way.
So,
Next.
It's all good. It's all good. We grown when it comes to relationship flow, sips and chat. That's why we sipping and we chatting.
Absolutely.
How are y'all doing?
We did that already.
No, I wasn't here. I want to know.
We good.
Are you all right, April?
I am, ma'am. Yes, I am. I got my
You
cup.
all right, Mary?
I'm trying to maintain as best as I can. Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
No,
That's an honest answer. We don't know about the big mic down there.
How are you, Daryl?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good. I'm doing well.
That's good. I'm glad everybody's well. Another week, another Friday. Seems like the week goes by very fast.
It does.
We're here again. We're here again.
Yes.
Yeah, we're here again.
Well, we here. We's in here. Any community events we want to chop it up with?
I was watching the I didn't watch the Oprah, but the Meghan Markle. And I've been following that, and just how they were, trying to say her accusations were false. She had no validity. She was lying about her mental health, saying that she wanted to kill herself. And that. How they just try to discredit everything she said.
Really?
Yeah, and that was really crazy. So as I watched more and more stuff, especially a lot of, I guess it's a Good Morning Great Britain or Britain Good Morning, something like that, their morning show over there.
Across the pond.
Yes. It seemed to, that she at one point asked for help, saying, listen, I'm thinking about killing myself. Like, it was that bad. And I guess she went to the HR department to do that. And
the establishment.
The HR department?
She referred to it as the establishment.
The institution.
Yes.
The institution, yeah.
And they were just like,
that's code word for establishment.
We don't handle that.
Okay,
we don't handle that. we don't do that, and basically left her out there. The crazy part about it is that the prince, I think Prince Harry has a initiative over there for mental health. They're doing things for people to help them with their mental health and things of that nature. So for you to have that type of initiative going on and then not to follow through in your own home, that's kind of crazy. That's really bananas, where this woman is really asking, it's really difficult to ask for help, and then for someone to not help you, that's gotta be crazy. The firm, yeah, that's really, I thought that was really interesting how, and then, that brought a lot of, you get the line in the sand, and a lot of people were saying, she's lying and she's not credible and everything. Like, they just immediately, she's lying, and I don't know why she would lie about some of these things. Even the part about the baby, which really confused me. They asked, how dark do you think the baby's going to be while she was pregnant? While she was pregnant, not like the baby came out, like, ooh, but while you're pregnant, you're asking the two lightest people on the earth how dark the baby's going to be.
Right.
I'm confused. I was so confused by that, and people trying to make it okay.
Is and the fact that they automatically shared, I think that's probably at the departure conversation though, that he would not be protected, would not have the privilege of the name or any of that, because they basically were trying to dismiss as if he doesn't exist.
So with the name part, I heard some different things. They said that he's not given a title for other reasons that were out. So it kind of seemed like that was something that may be something they just do. I wasn't really sure. I was watching some other things. Like, I watched a lot of the British TV, and they were talking about that they don't normally do that for, I guess, for the babies outside of whatever the case may be. But the security details really confused me why they weren't protected. They told them they weren't going to give them any. That was really crazy. Like, why not? They see what happened to Diana. It's just like they treat outsiders. They treat them as outsiders because they're not, blood, and that's the real problem.
Right, and it's so contradictory to what we say when you get married. If you have the spiritual compass in your life, you say that two families become one, and they apparently just don't believe in that whole philosophy that two becomes one.
They said you're Harry's problem.
Like the other half of the family, we don't acknowledge them.
That's just really crazy. It's just really, I just hate, how people immediately go to, this woman is lying and she just went to racism. That's what they do. I'm like, come on, man. Why would you think there is no racism over there when, colonialism is what they do? They've been colonized everywhere.
Right.
Only thing is since someone of color married into them for the first time, now they get to show their true colors. That's all it is. And
the first time on the books.
Yeah, exactly.
The first time on the books.
Yeah.
I think one of the conversations that I was reading through, several people were saying that, what did she expect? You're a black woman, you go over there, you marry this prince. What did you think was going to happen?
Or was it, did they, think that they're in love, and so because they're in love, that everybody else would embrace their love?
Well, I don't know Meghan. I don't know much about Meghan Markle. I don't know how she lived her life. Did she live her life as a black woman?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I didn't know of her
she viewed herself
until this. So yeah, I don't know much about her.
So if she, as always, kind of, because she's very it's very difficult to tell. So she may have thought she had the illusion of inclusion. She may have thought that everything's going to be fine because I'm just as white as they are. Maybe I look like them, and she didn't realize that that melanin in her was not they were not going to allow that to just freely have its way and over there with the queen.
And I guess when people say, what does she expect? There was a little thread about this happens with our own people. The paper bag test.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, if you light it in the
some people don't want their family members marrying a certain color.
And the other piece, you can't date somebody that's darker than you. Woo! But I like them dark. I had an issue. No, well, I will say personally, I just had an issue when I was 19. I was somebody came. They came into my step, and my mom told me he was too dark, and he couldn't even come into the house, let alone walk up on the steps because he was too dark, and I shouldn't be dating somebody that's dark as a monkey.
Ooh.
So that was
dark as a what?
Monkey. I say monkey. That's how it came to my ears. Monkey.
Wow.
It's like, how can you say that? That's so prejudiced.
Well, monkeys really aren't dark. Gorillas are. Monkeys are brown.
The shenanigans begin.
Tell people get their hate right.
Well, I will say that we're still friends to this day. One of my best friends, but I think it was just like inappropriate. I told her about herself, and she did not like it.
It definitely was inappropriate, and it's a shame how we do ourselves. It's really a shame how we do ourselves.
Colorism is terrible.
It is,
but it's so very real on so many different levels. Like the color of brown in the Crayola box comes in many different shades, and it's like, but none of us really actually represent in the color crayon box as black.
Exactly.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you mocha chocolate caramel.
I also had another incident. Somebody asked me, how did I have a light
skin baby? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's my son's birthday.
Kim just jumped right on in.
Listen, she jumped in like she was here the whole time.
That's right. Yep. Go, Kim.
I had another incident where they said, how did I have a light-skinned baby? My youngest. It was like, when you and your husband are. I said, have you seen my sister? I said, oh, she's real high yellow. I said, how can you talk? And you darker than I am. I said, if you want to put it like that. I said, we come all the rainbows. I said, let me hip you to this. My great-grandmother on my mom's side looks white. And she married somebody that was dark as tar. The most beautiful skin. I said, you put that together, come down through the generations, you get this good old mocha color. And I said, oh yeah, by the way, I'm Creole. So we got from white to we got every color in the rainbow. So,
colonization is why I'm not so white too.
well, and I also have some white relatives who have married into the family, and we had
And you had some white relatives that was raping us when we came here, which is colonization, which we all, well, most of us, is in our lineage somewhere.
Yeah, so
I get it.
you never know what's
don't.
going to come out when you have
Exactly.
You don't know.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Because
Any
sometimes it
and
becomes
everything
another
comes.
generation.
That's right. That's right.
But
You
I don't.
You got to
in my
go by what it
family,
looks
I
like.
don't-
Look like the neighbor.
But I don't
Mailman.
Then there's a problem. We ain't worried about color. We're worried about who we like.
Right.
If your
pocket.
baby look just like the mailman, you have a problem.
I hope not.
And you ain't gonna know that for a couple years because the
Yo.
features change. So the
Absolutely.
mailman gonna be a whole different mail
Yeah.
person by the time it gets to that.
And hopefully
I'm
off
not
the
waiting
route
that
by
long
that
to figure
time.
out who the daddy is. You just gonna swipe in the hospital. Free. DNA matches.
That's a mess. So Camp, what you sipping on?
Sippin, we was trying to get this Angry Orchard, but it's like, like the bottle tops. I got different types of openers. I just couldn't get it.
Okay.
The neighbor and the mailman.
And she said you gotta watch out for all of them people.
So
Oh,
what I'm gonna be sipping on is
she's
water
just out there
and
doing her
Dr.
thing,
Pepper. Separately. Water and Dr. Pepper separately. Not mixed together.
Okay.
Well, if it had ice and a Dr. Pepper, then it would be mixed together.
Unless one of y'all want to make me a drink.
Okay. All right.
Y'all been cooking.
Mhm.
Drinks.
Mhm.
Making drinks.
That's another show.
Oh, what's that? That looks real good.
That's my friend 18 is mixed with some juices.
Oh, I do have some 18 in the car sitting off the dashboard.
See.
What?
See.
Dashboard.
we're not even gonna ask.
See?
Nobody asked.
No.
The dashboard.
So can I say this? There's places down here where you can get margaritas and daiquiris, and they're in
a drive-through,
and you can put them in your car and drink you can drink like regular soda or whatever, but you won't get stopped because you just went through the drive-through to get a daiquiri or a glass of wine or a margarita.
You can stop when you hit that wall.
Everybody's tolerance is not like yours, Daryl.
Right?
Oh yeah. I listen. I smell it. I'm drunk, so I know I can't do
Really,
it.
Daryl?
You put it past my nose. I'm whoa. The room's spinning.
Oh Lord.
I mean, I have a high tolerance, but I don't get down like that. Like, what's the point of drinking if you can't really get drunk? So I don't drink like that. That's how I look at it.
What's the point? You can't get drunk.
Well, do you have to drink to get drunk, or can you just drink to have a good time?
What is the point drinking? That's I always ask that question.
What's the point of the hangover?
Y'all all talking at the same time.
Not a hangover, but if you want to drink and let like your loins down and kind of like chill and really get with it.
That's right.
You might as well not drink. Like, what's the point?
Right.
Yeah.
I can make a virgin strawberry margarita with whipped cream and be just fine.
Well, if you go top shelf, you won't have a hangover. That's all I'm gonna say. If you get them $2 Tuesdays, you definitely gonna be tore up the next day.
Yeah. Is that fun? Drinking to have a hangover? Is that fun?
Nah.
No, it just makes you remember that last night was fun before the hangover.
Right.
Like,
and that hopefully the next time you'll be like, okay, well, wait, what point do I stop? Or you just say, I'm gonna pay the extra and I get the $2 Tuesday. I'm gonna pay $5 and get top shelf.
Right.
Okay. It's
all about investment and education.
Well, yeah, it doesn't sound appeasing, like to go get drunk and be sick the next day. Like, I had fun last night, but I'm sick tomorrow. I don't know.
Nah.
I mean, people do it. I just don't see the point. It's just confusing me.
Consequences and everything that we do. The hangover is not one of those consequences you want to handle.
Not at all.
I was glad to learn what that quick little switch was to make sure I didn't have it, but could still have a great time.
Right.
Even though I could be silly without a beverage. So you might think I had a beverage and I didn't. Oh goodness. So any more community events?
Can we talk about Pepe Le Pew?
Oh yes.
Oh my goodness.
Like,
April over here condoning rapey people.
It is not. It's a freaking cartoon. He's a character. He's controlled by the writer, the director. So why are we removing Pepe Le Pew? Why not remove the writer?
Well, first of all, if what you see,
so you're talking about changing his personality.
Yes, exactly.
Well, remember the issue about that is he had a long history of being rapey. So with a rapey long history, if anybody sees anything he did before, look at rapey Pepe Le Pew. He's better now. Like he used to rape.
He got help.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
We can put a therapist in the
thing. Marry Pepe off. You know, Pepe found the love of his life. Maybe do a reunion between him and the girl the cat. No, he was chasing the skunk.
He's chasing the cat.
Yeah, he was chasing the cat, thinking it was a skunk.
No, he wasn't chasing. He was forcing himself upon her. He was being. Again, this is Me Too. We gotta stop this. We gotta support the women. You know how many cats and skunks came forth and say Pepe had touched them inappropriately.
You know what?
Mad cats and came forth and said Pepe was inappropriate with.
Hey Tanya.
Pepe is no different than Bill Cosby.
Oh, Tanya, please save us. We talking about Pepe Le Pew and how we should get the character changed out so that he could stay in the new series that's coming out.
Have them marry off the cat. She gave in. She gave in. They had little skunk cats.
Listen, are we really fighting for Pepe to rape this? I don't get it.
Oh, stop it! I think so people are examining
we
this.
We got Roethlisberger on the NFL still rocking out football, and they want him to continue. And he's done.
Again, we want him gone too. We want him gone too.
Cartoon character.
Well, because so who watches cartoons? Wait.
Listen, the point is
who watches cartoons? Can we answer the question? Can we answer these questions that we ask?
Animaniacs.
Can we answer the question?
The writer, not the cartoon character.
Can we answer these questions? Who watches cartoons for the most part? So if this thing is running around teaching kids to do this, if kids can take this, you don't want them to do that. That's just not okay.
I want to see the research on, since Pepe came into the fold, how many kids have forced themselves on some other kids?
Pepe's been around for a long time.
What kids today are even watching Pepe Le Pew?
But aren't they trying to revamp it now? Is that why they were talking about it? They're doing something else, bringing him back out?
It's one movie. Change the character. That's all I'm saying is change the presentation of the character.
So what happens a lot of times when you see something and you're like, oh, and then you go back and look at stuff they did before. You hear a song on there. You go look at their whole catalog. If people start looking for more things with Pepe, then you're going to see this little rapist. Come here. Let me stick my tongue in your mouth. Like, it's not okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
I'm not saying that it's okay. It's not. All I'm saying is change the character. Again, who controls the character? A human being, a writer. So we have, as writers, we have control over that, or they have control over that. That's all I'm saying. Write a different narrative. That's all. Give them a different.
But he still has a long history. You have to go and explain his history. How he got from the rapist to now he's a good star.
He's not a rapist.
You work in a public health profession, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe in forgiveness and rehabilitation?
Absolutely, but it's that's in 101 and have a context, and so now someone's life out of context, and someone else sees that, could they start making things that they see? Absolutely. So if we had like I said, if you went and rebuilt his whole story, if you did a whole thing on Pepe and how he came to be, okay, but that's not going to happen.
What regular stories on TV don't even do that. You watch some even some movies, you're like, well, how did they get from here to there? It just happened.
Again, so as a grown up and watching movies, as a grown up or a child, I think our mind is more impressionable as a child. We're talking about something that's childlike, that's going to be a movie that all children are going to see. Space Jam is going to be a big movie, and they want a rapey character in there. I don't understand why we want a character that's been rapey his whole life, and he's going to change for this movie.
Family Guy, we got.
So I don't know these characters.
The
Simpsons.
I haven't watched them. I don't know anybody that's being rapey on these, that's being super touchy on these force stuff on women, grabbing them to
if we take, so is it the rape that bothers you? Because there's so many things that become dismissive throughout the cartoons that people think that because it's cartoons, it's innocent. But when you look at the content, you'd be like, okay, wait, it's something else being portrayed here, and it's not necessarily from a health and wellness perspective, or like it's creating toxic relationships.
Absolutely. I mean, cartoons are the most violent things on the face of this earth. I get it, right? I'm saying, but when they bring up Pepe Le Pew, I get it. I see why they want to take him out. I'm not yes, sir, for it. That's not a second thought. But I can understand why they would take him out.
But that's what we grew up on, though.
Thank you. I don't know.
We were so. It's not even the current. Society was so good. We were good.
The current children don't even know anything about the Looney Tunes. So this is what we grew up on.
I think
Doc, here you go. Here you go. We grew up on Pepe Le Pew, and we had the Me Too movement in our era, talking about the stuff that we're doing. The people that are our age or older who are doing all, who we have Weinsteins and all these dudes that are just being Pepe Le Pew. There you go.
These two being Pepe Le Pew too. These two on the screen, Pepe Le Pew.
Cartoon character when we do have those Weinsteins, real people who are actually raping people.
Mm-hmm.
And the two names on the screen,
and the black rapists go to.
Yeah.
Yes. So Cuomo is definitely. We got like 3 now. I don't know much about.
No,
it.
it's more than 3. 6 or 7.
Way more than 3.
That's coming up, but again, the details and all the facts are not out yet.
Okay.
This man probably was on a track for president, perhaps, and they're just trying to nip it. In my opinion, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to defend him for certain.
You don't want to defend him, but you want to defend Pepe.
Yeah, I'll defend Pepe. Pepe.
Let's talk about it. What happened? Was Pepe your favorite character growing up?
Pepe was a typical skunk, typical guy nature. I mean,
they say he's a cat.
Oh, really? That's a guy you used to, Pepe, force upon you, Pepe? That's
No. I mean, but to me, that's innocent. I know the difference of reality and not.
It's innocent? So now.
But you know what? Sometimes the people who are aggressive in a domestic violence or sexual assault type way come off very charming.
Right.
And very nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they have the best date.
Okay. I just think that we're using this example as, it's over the top. And when we have real people who are actually.
We got Big Mike in the room. It's going to be over the top.
Well, I don't think this is my thing. I don't think it's over the top. This person.
Hear you. She's yelling at the screen. I see.
What do you think about the Dr. Seuss issue?
Oh.
I don't know. What happened with Dr. Seuss?
Again, we are talking about, animation, cartoons. These are the writers. Their stories are influenced by the writers. They're told by the writers. Why are we examining the characters when we're not focusing on the writers?
Well, I think if we're taking the character out, we're taking the writer out as well.
And the writer transitioned already and not even on this side of the earth?
Well, not to be funny, but the way I look at it, if you taking Pepe Le Pew, you might as well take the preacher that's up in the pulpit. You might as well take the people who slanging and dangling all the way around out wherever they at. You might as well the girls. You might as well take them out. The uncle that's molesting your daughter. You might as well take them out when the whole family know about it. To be honest, like if you want to keep tearing down child,
she's saying it for the people in the back.
We might as well take.
I was looking where we went. I don't know how we got. Listen, all these things are bad, right? And they all those things need to be addressed, right? So the pastors and all that, but people need to talk up. You don't see people speaking up.
But people do talk up, just like in the royal family, they talked up and they said that you can't say nothing. We don't experience that here at the firm.
But if you allow somebody, and that's what happened, they get silent. So, like, you know, if you keep going, like Megan was able, and Megan and I still told their story. The problem is we have people, like I said, people are stopped. People are told not to talk. And that's the problem. So we need to be able to let people say, you know what? You can talk and continue to talk. Like Pepe Le Pew, get him out of here. He's gone. Don't let him stay around. He's rapey. Let him go.
Okay. If that's the case,
and what I'm saying, go ahead.
I'm sorry. That's like saying you should take away the Tasmanian devil because certain things and what it represents.
Who's he raping?
I know that's one of my favorite. Beep beep.
But he's violent.
Thank you.
Right, and all this other stuff. But what I'm saying is that's part of.
Take off your Royal Women of Housewives of Royal Rules or whatever you guys watch.
The writers away.
All of them. If that's
exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So if you want to take away everything, if you're gonna tit for tat, you might as well take it all away. And what do we have?
They're not taking it all away. I think it's a Me Too type of era we live in, and I think that's why I'm going after it. I mean, it just fits with it fits the narrative of what people are really pushing today. I get it. It's the Me Too. You don't want your movie shut down because like you have this person in there. You want your movie to be, you know, flagged because it has this in there. I don't think people do. So I'm just going to take them out. It's not even something I'm going to fight for.
So how are we fixing the problem by removing the character specifically in Pepe Le Pew?
Instead of changing him.
Not just changing him, Doc. Wait a minute, hold on. Not just changing him, but addressing the writer who writes his story. We're the media and everybody is focused on the character and not the writer.
So it wouldn't really be the writer. It wouldn't be the writer anyway. It would be the person who developed the character to be the such, whatever it is. So someone said, okay, cool. But at the end of the day, so for people to see that this character was taken off, it shows with pressure, things can change. So we can look at it that way. People have banded together. They came and said, this is not right. And they took the black character off.
Okay.
You can look at it that way. So your voice was heard. So it can be done so positive. Like, look, if you do have issue with something and it felt rapey and you speak on it, we can do something about it. Cool. And maybe we can have a comeback story where he went to therapy and he came back and now he's good and now he's not rapey anymore. He's not forcing himself upon anybody anymore.
So even when we think about Dr. Seuss,
whole story.
Even when we think about Dr. Seuss, people saying it's racist and all that. It may be, but let me tell you. My girlfriend gave my kids the original stack of Dr. Seuss books from when she was a kid, and I passed them down. And then I bought some more books for Charlie, my youngest, right before this whole scandal thing happened. And I was like, if you want to complain, don't buy it, or just be quiet and write your own books. Get some construction paper and publish your own books for your kids.
So I'm sorry. What happened with Dr. Seuss? What happened with Dr. Seuss? Somebody come update me. I don't know what happened with Dr. Seuss.
They were saying that there's some racist themes in some of the books.
Some racist themes in America. They taking that out too. It's like April. Let's take it all out.
Right. So my thing is, I was just like, if I know,
or be truthful about what's happening, because when you say take it all out, like, I mean, not really to shift us, but like, you know, taking the statues down was taking it out, but it's not really taking it out. Let's correct the history. Let's say that they stole from who they stole from, and it's not reality, and have that as the facts, as opposed to thinking you just gonna erase it.
I think is I don't know. I think Dr. Seuss is different in that there's always a lesson. Like the book about the Sneetches. They talk about, you know, discriminating against each other because of the star on your belly and you don't have a star on your belly. But in the end, they work it out. So
what did they say was racist? Did they anything specific, or was it like covertly racist? I don't know.
I can't remember what book specifically they were talking, but I remember the Sneetch book being
one of them. One of them was Cat in the Hat.
Cat in the Hat was referenced.
Another one.
So what was racist in it?
A Fox in Socks. I know these titles, y'all, because I grew up on them. Fox in Socks. Cat. I'd be animated with it.
Like, what was racist in the Cat in the Hat? What was
They talked
racist?
about,
Was it like a
They talked
character?
about they talked about the illustrations, how some of them, the characters in the illustrations, and how they were depicting, and like depicting African Americans.
Word, there's black people in Cat in the Hat. I didn't know that.
So
I didn't know there was
the
black
picture,
characters in Cat in the Hat.
so like some of the characters like a protruding like a nose or like certain things features for the illustration.
But they would be white though, right? Would they be black or brown characters, or would they be white looking characters?
But there is that scene in the Cat in the Hat where they're talking about what cat means in different languages, like in Spanish, on gato, and I think they said something about, and they show like a stereotypical. I think they were saying they show like a stereotypical character of what this other race looks like.
Gotcha. I gotta look into it. I'm not, well versed on it. I'm gonna definitely check it out.
Well,
I mean, I don't remember saying anything about black people.
If you have a problem, just create your own.
I mean, well, they still got like Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn and all that type of nonsense. Are we taking that out too?
That's one of my favorite. Like, to be honest, I'm all about the history. That's one of my favorite novels, like the classic American.
You like
novels.
all those racist books, don't you?
I'm not racist though. But yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, we black people, we didn't really learn about our history until we ran to the white history and was like, where we at? We had to read that first before we could discover our own stuff sometimes, because we had to relearn and people had to reteach us.
Yeah, I was saying, what you mean? That's all we learned. That's what we were taught in the beginning.
That's why they're trying to get rid of the Gullah Geechee Nation in North South Carolina all the way through Florida, because they was from West Africa, Angola, and we still kept our original languages and mixed it with English. That's the only surviving in US of A. So they're trying to get rid of us everywhere. But remember, white landowners, they didn't like the swamps, but that's how the rice survives. That's why we have all this rice in gumbo, jambalaya, and different dishes. I'm just saying. So it's
rice.
Jambalaya. You don't understand rice. RICE.
She said rice.
You would be caught
up. Wow.
But I'm just saying that it's all connected.
But it's interesting that they, when they bring these things up, they talk about
what's that?
They're doing it for us.
Got no background.
That it's couched as they're doing it for us.
They're not. They're doing it to make themselves feel a bit comfortable because, I'm sorry, I was fearful. Oh, I'm sorry that I thought that way. You think that way. It's ingrained in you once you come out your mother's womb.
Well, it's ingrained in us as well. Of that, don't think about it. It's ingrained in us as well.
I do not.
You don't watch Chicago PD?
Yes, that's one of my favorite
I do not.
Shows. I did.
I've missed it.
You missed it this last Wednesday?
I did miss it.
Okay, so I won't say nothing.
I won't watch it. I won't watch it again because the writer, one of the writers was he played Daryl in Coming to America, and he was talking bad about it, so I won't watch it.
Okay.
You won't watch with Chicago people?
You see my face.
The dude Daryl's a writer. Yeah, listen. Okay, well he's a hater.
If I need to.
That's why I won't watch that show.
Because of one person.
Yep, that's all it takes is one person. One bad apple spoils the bunch.
Woo!
Well, Doc, when you see it, and what we just talked about just now in regards to perception.
Okay.
Yeah, the last week's episode.
Does it have to do with Atwater?
He's involved.
Okay.
Hey, we can't talk about it.
But not just necessarily just him.
FaceTime her later.
I don't have FaceTime, so I don't like that.
Well, we ain't gonna do this time about it either.
Why? Because you don't like the one character.
We all can't talk about it.
I ain't gonna give it away. I'm saying when you see it, you let me know, Doc.
All right.
What is it, Chicago PD, you said?
Yes.
Good show.
We're not gonna watch that.
You know what else is good? Equalizer with Queen Latifah.
Yeah, we've been watching that. Yes.
Brother, I haven't seen it yet. But I can't believe she's the Equalizer. Please.
No, I did. I did see the one episode, and I liked it. I just wasn't the yeah.
I like it.
Right. I need help, and I'm gonna go get Queen Latifah.
Okay. I think she was comfortable in her role, but
I'm having trouble These people are trying to kill me. Queen Latifah, can you help me? Yeah, that sounds like something's going to happen.
Stupid.
I know, he had the voice and everything. But the show was good, though. I like Equalizer.
Yeah, you got a bored. That's what it is. You ain't nothing else to watch. Like, this is a good show.
You have to not be trying to put her in Denzel Washington's role.
He's
created her own space.
No,
so you put Washington's face on her? You think it look like it's Denzel?
Shut up, Daryl. She has created her own space in this.
Yes, she has created her own lane. Yeah,
yeah. It's really make believe. Nobody believes in Queen Latifah coming to help.
But they do, and she comes through.
Yeah.
Oh boy, it's not even believable. I mean, I love the Queen. Like, if it was more the set it off days, I could believe that. But this,
yo, she scared me and set it off.
Listen,
set it off. Listen,
I was like, she might need a mental health assessment or something going on after that one, but she good.
Yeah,
she good.
Right, set it off. I was like, whoa, I'm scared of her. But the Equalizer, I'm good. She can barely run.
Watch it.
She ain't chasing nobody down.
Watch it first.
Girl, you should watch it.
Then make
I the previews, and I seen how slow she's running. I'm like, she ain't kissing nobody. They got away. They got away.
She's a woman?
What you say?
Are you saying it because she's a woman?
Oh, I'm saying it because it's Queen Latifah. There's someone out there to do their thing. Her, I don't believe it. It was another woman in that role, like the new girl who plays Batwoman.
Batwoman.
Yeah.
I think she's dope. I don't like the show, but I think she's dope in the show. I really like her in the show. Mm-hmm. I could believe her maybe as the Equalizer. Cause I believe her Batman. She's doing her thing.
What about the girls in Black Lightning?
They're right.
Oh yeah, they're dope. They're both dope. I like them both.
What did you say, Doc?
I said girls, but the women in Black Lightning.
Yeah, I think everybody on that show, mom, daughters, even the role Jill Scott played, I believed it. You know, as the boss.
I never believed it.
Yes, I believe that. So I believe it. So if they had to put one of them girls in it, absolutely.
Okay.
But
you gotta take your blinders off of Queen.
Well, she got her 18 now.
Okay, 18.
She got her pocket purse. Pocket size.
That's called a nip, right? That's a nip.
What's that, about 4 ounces? 2 ounces?
It's actually, I'm looking.
That looks like a waste of time. That looks like a waste of time.
All right, y'all. We done spent 45 minutes
on community stuff, right?
Hey, that's not how you transition, Doc.
I put your thing up there like, okay, wait a minute.
That is not how you transition, Doc. Okay, you gotta learn how to transition better than that. All right, that's not how we do it. Like, listen.
Like,
I'm getting tired.
Hey, what's
Doc said I'm getting tired already.
There.
I'm with you, Doc. Let's.
So we got the 18 in the building.
All right,
and the conversation
is that the coconut? That's the silver.
Doc, I thought we were gonna start. Doc, you talking about the coconut? We try to get your attention quick.
Doc, I got coconut. If that helps you, I got coconut.
She moved closer to the screen and everything. It's like, coconut.
Like, hey, coconut, how you doing?
Wait.
Oh man.
And just before I go into the topic, to let y'all know, Facebook user is our dear friend Nat White. She must have made some new settings with all of her cooking posts that she's been doing. So therefore she don't have permission from StreamYard right now, but she can give it back.
That's all right, right, Nat. We know.
But I figure we give her a shout out.
Cheers, Nat. Cheers, Nat.
We don't get free shout outs.
Cash App.
Why are you gonna make her get you, Daryl?
Right. Get him.
It's like his Friday ain't right if Nat don't get him or Bruce don't get him. Somebody gotta get him.
Right.
Hey, me and April taking on all comers, right, April?
Oh, now he's trying to get you on his side, April. You see that?
She said, huh?
April on my side already.
We
agree with him.
You see, we agree on everything in the room.
Thank you.
We agree on everything in the room.
I don't see your lots, girl.
Anywho, this week at Sippin Chat, we are here. Oh, here come Ruth.
Hey.
All right. Thank you. Let them know.
We had
somebody got a new picture. You got a new picture, Ruth? I see the new picture. Update. Okay. I see you. Look at who you behave with that picture.
You know she about to fire right back at you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, last week we had our guests and we learned a lot about, that his lifestyle and what his experience and journey from the perspective in which he lives. And the green room came up with, not necessarily from that conversation, but in what happens in the green room, which is a whole nother thing. And Daryl, if you get in Cash Apps, you got to break down, shakedown.
Thank you.
We split it between everybody. So
okay, I just want to be clear. I need to be clear. We're talking about the intergenerational perspective. I'm trying to be international on the rights and the wrongs of your relationships. Like, who tells you what's right based on your generation and how you choose who you love and how you love and all of the different things that you do. So we're here to talk about like a traditional relationship versus non-traditional relationship.
Ooh.
Non-traditional.
And who sets that?
And who
exactly
sets that?
Right. What's traditional?
I'm grown.
Mm-hmm.
I know women want, men to open doors and
Sorry.
do all these type of things. But it's weird because women, they say they want these things, but they're all independent women. I'm confused. Which one
I'm
is
an
it?
independent woman.
I just go to
I have my
Wawa. All the
traditional
men at
ways.
Wawa open the door.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All the men at Wawa. It be Club Wawa. I be like, oh, how you doing? Thank you.
Right.
All I know is,
But y'all independent women.
Opening doors and everything, I'm gonna just sit back on everything. So, because men want us to be independent women on some things, but on others, I need you to be. Nah, if I'm gonna be that type of woman, it needs to be in all facets of life. I'm gonna sit back and let you handle that, boo. Go ahead.
So what do women do? I get confused because men supposed to do all this. What do women do? Oh,
we
exactly.
feed you.
That's it.
In terms of what? I'm asking. In terms of
Right.
In terms of what? What are you asking? What are you saying?
I was told there was only 2 or 3 basic needs that men need.
Okay.
Food, sex, and I forget the third one.
Water.
No, not water.
That's actually thirsty.
I forget. I don't know. Maybe clean house.
In that order.
A clean house.
Food, sex, and I'm sorry.
Water. In that order.
Clean house. People be expecting, got these high expectations, but they not clean. So you need to clean your own mess. I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I can clean my own mess. You can open your own door.
The men don't need much.
My own door.
Good.
But you
say, April, because the crosstalk, I didn't hear you.
No, because Daryl want to open my door. That's
sex.
That is.
Right.
Ruth said food, sex, and sex. More sex. You know what, Miss Ruth? I think that's the truth. That's all they really concerned about. Sex.
So if it was true, it'd be sex, and sex. I mean, you really want to talk about it.
Well, sex could be food. It's nutritional. It has nutritional value.
No nutritional value whatsoever.
That's not
zero
facts.
Nutritional value.
It's a nutritional value.
Well, we don't have a nutrition.
It may taste great. It may taste great, but it's less filling.
No, it's filling.
Oh my gosh.
Oh Lord. Thank you.
So what are some of the quote unquote
let's stay on topic.
Some of the quote unquote traditional values in a relationship or traditional ways of behaving in a relationship?
And again, what do we mean traditional? I don't know what traditional means at this point. I'm just honest.
Traditional I think varies based on your
exactly,
generation.
Ruth. Empty calories. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, we can speak from our own perspectives. Like, what are some of the traditional things that you learned about what a relationship should be? What's traditional?
I guess
sometimes what you learned and what you practice is 2 different things.
Of course, but I want to talk about
what you.
The first of all, talk about what did we learn?
Okay, I learned that you should.
How you gonna cut her off?
Go down, Dirk, and go.
No. I think you remember some delay. So I think she started talking. I started talking at the same
Being
time.
a gentleman means you let the woman go first. That's traditional.
Is that a traditional value? Because I didn't know that. Yes, is that traditional?
Yes.
No. But Dirk can go first.
No. What I was going to say is it's tough because I don't know if and I'm speaking raw, but are men are not really sometimes taught to be in relationships. We're taught how to play basketball, baseball, football. I don't know if we're really taught to how to take care of a woman, what to do from a woman. That was something that I don't really remember being necessarily taught. You may see it on TV or something like that, but I don't know if it's necessarily ever really taught. And it's more of a, as you get out there, you learn what women want or like through, friends or interactions. You just learn that way. I don't necessarily know that we were taught.
Okay. That's very fair. That's fair. Okay.
So is it possible that you were taught indirectly?
Absolutely. But indirectly, what we were taught was women objects, take as many women down as possible. They're sexual beings. Because like I said, for me personally, I had a lot of uncles growing up. I think it was like 7 of them. So when they were in their 20s, I guess I was around 7, 8, around them all the time. And that's all they talked about, which had me, I remember just being just like a sexual kid just because they talked about it all the time. Like, it's what you do. And it's like guys just talking and we were there and, we're quiet. So we're hearing all this. So we're learning, through what they're saying, we're learning. And then we go out and try to do, not really understanding what we're doing, but we're doing what they're talking about. Right. And that's how I learned a lot of bad habits. It wasn't until I got a lot older that I was like, whoa, I was wrong. I had to break a lot of, as I got older, I had to break a lot of habits that I thought, because I didn't really understand everything they were saying, right? I didn't understand it. My young brain, 5, 6, 7, we don't really understand. We just kind of are emulating things that we don't know exactly what we're doing.
That rapey syndrome.
Absolutely. We were just out there just doing a whole bunch of stuff. Like we were doing a whole bunch of stuff at a young age just because it was, to us, that was talked to us, talked about it and talked to us. But it's weird because a lot of girls are also allowing us to do these things. And I'm back, like, what was wrong with them?
And you know what? And I want to interject just at this moment, because maybe that's why I'm not so objectionable towards the Pepe Le Pew, because that's what I grew up on. Like men gawked at women, and it was expected. Not that it was okay, but it was expected, and we learned to navigate through that. Brush it off. Or then you had some women that was like, oh, this is what they're supposed to do. That way.
And you make a great point, April. I mean, I don't know, growing up, how many times the catch a girl, get a girl game was in play, or a boy would smack you on your butt and run away from you. It's the same, the same kind of stuff.
I didn't run. I was standing looking in your eyes.
You know what, Daryl?
What you trying to do?
Listen, you're right, Doc.
I guess I don't know, traditional upbringing, it was more so like, you have to be the good girl, get married. It doesn't necessarily mean you stay married. Doesn't necessarily mean you try to work at it. You just get married and see what happens, see where it goes.
Right.
And you don't really even have to love them. It's just, somebody's available. It's kind of like what they said on Sex and the City. It was like, the quote was, marry somebody that loves you more than you love them. It was that type of thing. Somebody who's infatuated with you, who would just give you the world no matter what you did. So that's what I saw. I saw the opposite of what I think I was supposed to do. But luckily, like fighting through those curses and demons, it's a lot. It's also, I also was raised on, when you tired and you don't like what's going on, you can just get up and leave anytime you feel like it. As a woman. And you ain't gotta take no kids with you. You ain't gotta take no kids with you. You can just get up
money,
and go.
I see.
You can
money.
travel, you can flow, you can do whatever you want, and kids ain't gonna hold you back whether you take care of them or not.
independent woman.
I was raised the same way. You don't have to. You don't have to put up with that.
That's what destroying. That's what destroying relationship. That's what mindset is destroying relationships right now.
Yeah, but it was like you ain't gotta put up with that. You ain't gotta. What did he say to you? He says you come buy that new dress this week, but you stay home, cook, clean, even if you don't. I guess the image of you being the good wife, the traditional wife. You cook, clean,
right?
You keep the house together. You're raising the kids, but the kids are at school,
and you work. And you work.
You watch soap opera.
You definitely
and you
work.
gotta go do grocery shopping, and you gotta
wash the clothes.
You gotta wash all the clothes.
You have to do all this stuff.
I mean, that's what women do.
What?
But that's his traditional view. That's his.
You said traditional. I mean, hey, that's what you do. Luckily, we let you wear shoes.
Luckily,
okay.
Did you say let?
Hey, Mary.
Did you say let?
Press that mute
button. Absolutely. If we're talking about traditional, right?
So when Daryl talks about let, it was also when you married, your husband should be giving you a weekly allowance for you to do whatever you want to do. That's traditional.
You don't know he on mute.
Look, Camp, I was raised in the wrong family because I wasn't taught that. He should be giving me a weekly allowance.
A weekly allowance. And y'all
ain't no allowance. It can't. Stop it.
No, wait a minute.
Your allowance was you allowed to work in the house.
Right.
You expect the house to be a certain way.
Right,
but you know what?
Well,
it really
traditional. We said traditional.
It depends on where you come from, because one of my chosen aunts says the same thing. Yes. Your husband or your mate should give you a weekly allowance for maintenance.
Right.
But listen, that's again, I hate when we go to the extremes. Don't go to the extremes for the norms. Don't go to the one or two that fit the narrative outside.
I'm sorry. I'm from down south. And down
south.
She
was down south, getting the house and clean. Luckily you got shoes. This is how traditional it is. Your man go to work. When they get their paycheck, they hand you the paycheck because you pay the bills from what your husband does. Plus, they give you the allowance every week because you got to put. Ain't nobody an allowance. All the errands, take care of the kids. You got to pay. You got to do banking. You just got to do a lot, and you got to go hang out with your sister and whoever else you want to be. Wait a minute. When you get to hang out, if you got to do all that, come on, stop it. Listen, let's be realistic. Wait a minute. We're not being honest. No, down south, a lot of times women, they can be cousins, aunts, or sisters. They link up, they shop together, they cook together, they provide for. Ain't nobody in my house. Ain't nobody in my house, but you cooking and cleaning for my kids. When I come home, you better be home and food better be ready.
See, that's abusive and controlling.
Yes, but
hey, you talk about traditional. That's what traditional looked like, right? No, like traditional was more of a. But wait a minute, but traditional, the woman also, she had to keep herself up. You couldn't walk around looking like anything. Keep herself up for what? Ain't no nowhere. Ain't no bonnets. And down south, wait a minute. Listen, this is why the man was cheating with the young hot thing, because wife was home all day cooking, cleaning, looking crazy. She didn't get to keep up. She wasn't keeping herself up. But this is traditional. What relationship are you talking about? But I was raised on this. You go get your hair done every 2 weeks, nails and toes done. Listen, so we want to talk about your experience. I'm talking when we talk about traditional.
Thank you.
Traditional.
Get them.
Thank you. So, but no, to be honest, that's how I was raised. And wherever your husband went and he got dressed up, you got dressed up, and you escorted, like you went with him, and you had to look a certain way. You had to keep yourself up. And let me tell you, they stayed walking, running on the treadmill. You can't be out here for loose, everything rolling and hanging. That ain't how we do. Even if you are bigger, it ain't about that. It's about keeping yourself.
We ain't hear you. You was on mute.
Me or
no? We heard you, Camp. We ain't hear Daryl.
We had with you last week. We gonna do.
You just got
Camp
asked
life
if she
story.
could finish.
This ain't my life story. This is how I was raised. Not just me, but tons of people I know. Down south, Midwest, up north.
Daryl.
Okay.
Look at me.
Right.
Look at me.
Okay.
Look at me.
Okay, April. Got you. I got you. Okay. I'm sorry.
I mean, this ain't my life.
We kindred, right? We kindred, right?
So, April, you want me to mute them and you gonna tell me when to take them off?
No, I won't do that.
No, he's fine right now.
I don't need to do that.
I'm just saying, this is not my current life. I live a lot differently than how I was raised. but I'm just
I
saying.
just thought we was talking about traditional, not
Okay.
We
personal.
are.
I'm confused.
But it just
But you know what? You're right. Down south is a different. It's
Yeah.
a different
beast.
experience.
It
Because
is.
I tell you, when my aunt Chosen said that, I was like, really? She was like, yes. They pay for your maintenance.
Yes.
They supposed to pay for your
I
maintenance.
am definitely moving down south.
I mean, that would be the Mecca. Down south would be the Mecca if that's the case. They give you allowance, girl, going down south to get a man. Like,
I am done.
Not because I'm not gonna be in the house barefoot and pregnant.
Exactly.
no,
Well,
she said
that ain't
you're
gonna
not
happen.
barefoot and pregnant. She said you living your best life. You get an allowance. You
That's
get to
not
go
what she
out. You
said.
get to get on a treadmill.
That's
Yeah,
not
that's
what she said. She said you had to
That's
cook, you had
exactly
to
what she
clean.
said.
That's right. You got to do some
Look,
stuff.
you got to do all that stuff, maintaining the house. First of all, I'm not staying in the house, so I'm already not compliant and submissive. So listen,
I mean, but
They're gonna send me back up north.
they're gonna send me real quick because I'm gonna question the spreadsheet. I'm gonna question the spreadsheet. They're gonna be like, "You a northerner? Go ahead on back up your way."
They be like, send her ass back right now.
So,
but to be honest, I remember my mom like being that bitch, but she did her. She did what she wanted to do all day long.
Is submissive a traditional type thing?
Submissive is a spiritual, religious type
that word.
thing.
I've seen that word come up in several different groups.
In this context, is the spiritual, because it could be some sexual submissive too.
No. It is. I'm talking about as far as when we submit in our relationship. Is that more of a traditional value?
A traditional spiritual value.
Thank you, Mary.
Again, back. So I'm just saying. I think like back like the 50s, 60s when women are at home and they weren't working where the man may be working, the woman kind of submitted. Like she didn't have access to the money and things of that nature, which was a big reason why women couldn't leave a long time ago, why relationships stayed together, because you couldn't leave. You didn't have access to different things. So you were kind of like you submitted, like that was kind of what it was. Even independent of religion, no matter what your religion was, you was at home, taking care of things.
But religion was still like a core value. Like that, it was a core value in every home. Like no matter if she had the allowance or permission to do such, and these are like new up-to-date words, it was more so like the value that lived in every home, because there was always like a praying altar, there was always an open Bible, there was always what the Sunday rituals were. Like that's a part of the norm. I didn't say everybody was Christian.
So but most homes, independent of what your religious values, background, atheist, whatever, this is what it was. The women were home, right? 40s, 50s, where men were working before women got independence. Women were home, taking care of the home. They couldn't really leave. They didn't have access to the money. This is what it was then. So I don't know if that was religious or just what it was. Because again, independent of what you believed religiously, this is what was going on. From what I hear in those eras, what we see, Mayberry and things like that. Like the woman, this is what she did. She was home. She took care of the house. She was the house manager. She took care of the kids. The food there when the husband came home. He worked. He brought the money home. I don't know if that was necessarily
until they took the man out the house, and then she had to step up.
Yes, and that was when the 60s, 70s, where things changed, right?
Well, they took the man out the house,
and during war,
yes,
when the women had to.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, during the war. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So.
What, you got a DM real quick?
Unplug it.
So, is that the whole perspective in which we're going to speak on in regards to traditional? Is just from that aspect when the woman had limitations of what she had access to? Or are we talking about people who still live in today's time following traditional values and not meeting the expectations of individuals and being judged by it?
Today, I don't know what traditional is. Yeah. I don't know any set, it seems like everybody's on their own schedule, own time, own thought process and you meet someone and you try to navigate what they believe, how they want to move, and you move, and hopefully you can get together and make it work. That's what I see. I don't see anything where, I don't see people like, well, you got to open doors, you got to do this or pay for this, or I don't see those type of things anymore. I see, like I said, a lot of times women will
Club Wawa.
pay before. Well, okay, so that's great. I'm talking as far as dating, going out, women are paying for stuff first. Like, before you pull the joint off, they're trying to take care of it a lot of times. They're I don't know. It's just not. Things are a lot different. Again, I'm out here in these streets, so I see, like, a lot of times it's kind of weird. I'm cool with it, though. You can pay all you want, but the women are paying, and they're not really requiring you to open doors. They hitting that door before you hit it. Like, they don't, because sometimes you might wonder, like, all right, let me do this thing. Let me put my best foot forward. Let me grab this door. And before you get the door, she's like, I got it. Oh, okay, my bad. You feel me? Like, it to me, it's just so different today. I don't see any traditional values at all. You don't know what you're going to get. Like I said, today is very convoluted. You just really, each person, you're just trying to figure it out.
But I think each person represents how they maintain tradition differently, because there's some people who still, in today's time, have certain expectations around tradition that influence them on one hand, but then on the other hand, it may not apply, because they may believe in the top 3 in the list, but the bottom 3, they have rewritten how it works for them today. And
that's when people are all confused about what it is that they're doing, is they're trying to find that area where their goals and their values and their behavior meet. So they be experiencing that cognitive dissonance because my behavior is not matching what I think I believe or what I say I believe. And that causes a problem.
Or they go visit their elders in their family, and the conversation creates conflict or differences of opinion. And so then they begin to question, okay, well, am I right? Am I wrong? Or should I not bring this up to them? Should I not bring my partner home? Or like all different types of questions, because their elder doesn't accept how they choose to live.
Okay. Yeah, it's
tough today. I just don't, especially now, everything is changing so much. Relationships are changing because how we relate to one another has changed, right?
Yeah, so, and people are so much more, well, you know what? I was going to say something kind of ignorant. I was going to say that people are much more fluid in how they move in relationships, but I think, there's always been some of that. So I don't want to sound ignorant. There's always been some of that, but it's just been kind of kept quiet.
Everything is it's more unveiled right now.
More acceptable.
Yes.
But I also think people create their own traditions.
Yeah.
So they take a little bit of what they learn. You mature a little bit. They take a little bit of what they hear from their elders or other people, more seasoned individuals, or what they friends say, what they see on TV. It's like a mismatched mosh podge of everything, I think. And then when they come to something new, it comes to their own, they start incorporating those. But I feel like traditions look different in every household, no matter if you're part of the same family or not. And some people live in the same household and have different traditions for themselves than the rest of the family. Like it used to be like everybody believed the same thing in the household, but they was raised on. But that's no more. Like totally different.
Yeah, so exactly.
I think we're losing. It's very convoluted. Traditional values. There are our traditional values. I know I feel like my traditional values are being challenged more. My son and I had a conversation on the way home today, and he showed me some kind of Instagram post, and it talked about super cisgender. Or what is it? What was it, G? Super straight. And I'm like, what the heck is super straight? So it goes on to the definition of a person who is basically feels like they're they're cisgender, they're attracted to cisgender, but they refuse all the other options per se, you know,
Well,
and
yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
and I'm like,
They do.
I was
What is
so they refuse to accept, you know, people attracted to with because we have like a wide
Gotcha.
spectrum
Okay.
of
Okay.
Of preferences and how people
preferences,
identify.
genders, yes, identities and whatnot. Cis super straight refuse to or to accept that everyone other than themselves. And I'm
Yeah,
like, go ahead.
So that means they're kind of like genderist. They're against all
That's
other genders.
right.
Right.
And I told him
All 64 different ways that people identify.
64 or more, right? So
And counting.
because we're so
Right.
fluid,
And
our
counting.
society is so fluid. I feel like super straight or the cisgenders are it's being reversed now, you know, where people, you know, that fit that characteristic is being challenged, and we're losing, or we're being challenged of our traditional values. So, you know, my advice to him is to, you know what, do you know, whatever you preference, you stand by it, you know, and you just stand up for yourself. But our society is too fluid. We're losing our so-called
A portion
traditional
of our society is fluid because there's still some people who still value and honor whatever tradition was for them. And
Right.
that's where the conflict comes, because it's a parting of the ways in
Right.
regards to what tradition is expected to be.
Right.
But I agree. Well, I think she's kind of right in the sense that the society is becoming more fluid, because you're starting to have to accept that, say, your kid is just very fluid, right? Are you going
Right.
to now, you know, some people do this on their kids, but you have to now accept just that the kid may feel a certain way. Not that you may agree, but now you're accepting these pronouns. You see now in your
Yes.
email, people are putting their pronouns in their title. You know what I mean? So things are slowly changing that weren't, you know, even 5-6 years ago that were culturally relevant. But now you understand this is really, you know, you're experiencing. We had a trans man on last show that was talking. You know, so acceptance is coming in that, you know, people are having platforms, people are talking. We're accepting these people who they are. Some of us are. We still have people that are, you know, I'm not doing it. I get it. But I think things are slowly changing, and, you know, definitely our kids are going to have a way different view on things than we do when they grow up.
Yeah, but not every person is. Yeah, hi, Shirley. Not every person is transitioning with the transition of the world. And an example that I have with that is, and it's interesting because when Shirley said hello, I knew that she would come back and be like, not everyone. Like that would be me knowing her and her platform and her value system. Like I can easily see that she would say that. But then in thinking of my class that I teach, this conversation came up because we were talking about equitable relationships and people being different, but how minorities are othered for different reasons. And in the video that I used, it talked about Hispanic platform, African Americans, male, female, and then it added who identify in the LGBTQTIA population. And that sparked a very rich conversation because some of the students in the class are 55 plus. And then some students in the class are 22 to 35. And the divide on how the acceptance and the non-acceptance and the fluidity between the two, the seasoned students had issues with their fluid children who fall in that 30, 25, 30 age range, who now identify other than what their expectations were.
Yeah.
And it became a great debate that they are not falling in line with the way the world is saying that the new vision or fluidity really looks like, because their expectations for their child is not what the world is saying it should be.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings me to an experience that an experience that I had with my daughter some years ago when she was I don't know, maybe a junior or senior in high school. And her friends, she had a diverse group of friends, and she was being exposed to, the people who identify. That was the first time I actually heard of the different identities.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really in shock, because I have a lot of traditional values, that was carried on, and I tried to instill in my children. So the fact that she was introducing this new fluid culture to me, it was challenging for me, because it's not something that, I grew up as, to be, normal. But we used to have a lot of debates about what is normal, what's acceptable. And she truly enlightened me. And like, I grew to not necessarily accept, but to understand, the children, or the her peers in that generation. And there was a lot that I honestly did not want to accept. And there's still today some things that I do not accept, but I respect them. And I do think that there's a clear difference between accepting and respecting. I cannot accept certain things because of the traditional values that have been instilled in me. And these are just my personal beliefs. And I think, this conversation is really good for us. And just going forward, because our society is really just changing. I think fluid is the best assessment for it.
Yeah, just to piggyback
So
off on. Go ahead.
He's been trying to jump in the game.
Listen, I was saying there's no absolutes, right? There's no absolutes. So it's not everybody. We all may know certain people that do certain things differently, and everybody, again, all right, we have absolutes. But I'm saying that, like, as we learn more, sometimes we kind of understand more, right? And a lot of times we may have people who are out of touch. Like, so that 55 plus may not deal with anybody to know anything to even change their opinions or even give them a chance. But I think, again, now everything's in our face. We're starting to have to challenge ourselves to say either, we're not going to talk to our kids who may be different, or somebody who may be different, or coworker who may be different, or we're going to say, this is a person, I may not agree with what they're doing, but they're still a nice person, right? I'm not going to shun them or treat them differently just because they are different. So I think that that's what's happening, because it's more, everything's readily available now. Everything's out in the public eye. They're about to sign their gender neutral bill, so they're putting it out there. And there are always going to be some people who may just not, I'm not changing. Cool. But I think a lot more people, and I'm not saying they're changing to the point where they're like, oh, this is great, but they're changing to the point where they're saying, you know what, this is not a bad person because they're making this decision. Like, I can still work with this person, say hi to this person. I can have a conversation with this person. I think that may change, because some of the stigmas that people have about people who are different may change, because it's out in the public eye now that people are talking about it more. And just the conversation you had in your classroom, I guarantee some people had maybe a little different outlook on things after a conversation, especially after they went home.
Absolutely, the papers have been phenomenal.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So acceptance may look different. It may not be a thing where everybody wants to hold hand and they got a flag in their house, but they just may be more understanding of people's situations.
Right, exactly.
I'm sorry.
What are you laughing at?
The holding the hands.
Dancing the flags in the house. That was just.
But I mean, it's interesting because so even at work, I have a since I'm the liaison, I have a flag in my area, and
because you're an ally,
right?
Yes. So immediately, some of the people from the flag started.
Mary?
People ran
I'm too
to the
deep
desk.
into the world. I'm sorry. Ally can be taken in so many different ways that can be offensive to the community as well.
Really?
It is.
Really?
Yeah, please.
Why? Yeah, show me how. Yeah, so for me, because I never heard it being a negative.
It goes on both sides. So yes, it has been identified as a way to say that you're in support of whatever you're saying you're an ally with. However, people who are from that population of which you're saying that you're an ally to still feel othered, still feel separated, still feel like, okay, why do we need the crowd to come and rally around us? We should be accepted in the absence of needing a team to support us. Right.
Yeah, you should be, but you're not. So if we're dealing with reality, you're not at this point. You know, and the struggle is real. And the struggle, if Black people still aren't accepted. So acceptance comes, you know, with a lot, and allies are needed for acceptance. So I would want to educate them on, listen, we all are working together trying to make a better
Daryl, I'm not
world for all of us. No, not you. No, I'm not saying you as in you.
I know, but you put your muscle on and the deepness in your voice and like, this is what I'm saying.
Hey, listen, I'm letting them know what time it is. No, because
there's that kindred soul, Daryl. There's that kindred soul because I feel the same way. Like, you know, I'm understanding you. You know, I may not necessarily 100% agree with you and in full alignment. But I respect the fact that you are who you are. You believe, and I'm not disagreeing with it. I told my son today, we have our differences, respect our differences, and leave it at that. You know, but don't demean me, or don't try to convince me to say that my values or my perception is any less worth or value of yours. Don't try to convince me that you identify with who you identify is correct. I might disagree, but I respect that you feel that you are who you are.
So y'all PB&J now?
Shut up.
Yes.
You and Daryl PB&J now? Y'all just melted together like fried
Yes. They didn't even have us sign a consent form to that kid. We ain't even signed no consent.
I'm the chocolate. She's the caramel on the s'mores.
They kindred today.
Yeah, they kindred.
But if you catch them Sunday through Thursday in the group,
it's
a whole nother conversation. Like, you know, the popcorn be flowing. I be like, let me go get me a new bag to see what's about to happen.
Let me tell the kindred spirits. Oh, I really responded this week. Did you see?
Did
y'all take notice?
Yeah. That's why I say every time I say hi, Camp. Every time you respond, say hi. I see you there. I can't say hi to Doc though. I can't say hi to Doc.
Why you can't say hi to Doc?
Her debut.
This week was Doc's anniversary. Come on, let's share some love.
Oh, and that meal looked real good, Doc. I was checking it out.
It was.
I can't get a plate, but y'all don't do me right, but it's okay.
No, what was funny this week, I mean, we didn't digress, was when Camp woke up early in the morning and talking about, April, what you cooking? I'm like...
Oh, y'all should see my flyer. Anyway,
you can share it if you need to before we close out.
April was cooking up a storm this past week.
Every day. She made that cheese meal.
Cheese meal.
Yeah.
Very cheesy.
It was all cheese. It was cheese.
Yes.
Everything.
I'm working on my little recipe for that, but go ahead. Let's stay on topic.
Yes, I was going to say we about to digress down that hole.
Right.
But I will say, when y'all talk about traditional in these conversations, I've had to have conversations with my children that I didn't want to have this early. But I will say, the last 5-6 years. But I will say, I think I'm more open-minded than my kids. It's reversed. Because even though we've taught them certain traditional values from our household, we let them have a voice and let them think how they would like to think, because they might think differently than we do when they do. And I was surprised to recognize we have these conversations. Like, for example, Who do you like? Is it? Are we still on the same wavelength from last year? Is it different? Did it change? And they be like, nah. This is what I'm sticking with. This is what it is. And it ain't gonna be nothing different. I'd be like, oh, okay, but what about this? What about that? They was like, I support my friends. However, this is how I choose to live my life. Amen. But I feel like I'm a little open-minded versus them. They're very, what's the word I'm looking for?
So should they like something else?
No. Well, if they
if they don't like it, they don't like it.
Exactly.
I like it.
I'm not.
Yeah, like just because you like something a little different, they don't have to. They like what they like. Open-minded.
With communication and talk about
I see the open door. You need to talk to your husband, not the kids.
I said communication in terms of what kids are doing and growing. Don't take it out of context. It's not like that.
I thought you were talking about that open-mindedness. Like he might want to know about how open-minded you are. Mm-hmm. What was the other one? What was the other comment we had this week about the food coming home or whatever, the pepper steak? Who put that in the room?
I did.
Who put the pepper steak in the room?
I did.
Yeah, there you go.
I did.
Listen, he just wanted some pepper steak. I don't see nothing wrong with that. He's gonna bring you a plate too. You women are just so easy.
I was trying to think of a smart comment to put on there too.
That was one thing that I think, I think that some women have learned. I won't say a lot or a little. Some women have learned that don't let another woman cook for your man.
Mm-hmm. Which we talked about that a couple weeks ago about having the work wife and the work husband.
Nobody should be cooking for anybody's partner. Nobody should be cooking for anybody's partner.
I thought about you when I had extra, and usually at work when I eat my food, you hungry, then I'm wrong for saying, "Oh, I just brought a little extra for you."
Absolutely, I'm like he was thinking about you and brought you some food. Really?
But he ate.
There's something wrong with that.
If he eat it, then what's wrong? That's not what's wrong with me.
There's something wrong with that.
Question when it's done consistently.
No. It only takes one time for you to be thinking about my woman at home towards your problem.
Consistently buy his lunch.
You better keep that thought to yourself.
He needs to consistently buy his lunch before he walks into work.
Listen, if somebody asks my girl wife for some food, she better knock it on the floor. She better not spit her mouth. She better not take a spoonful, smell it, taste it, nothing. We're done.
Look,
goodness.
I'll bring you a
meal.
meal.
Get the food. But April and her recipe.
April.
No. No, don't bring me no name.
Well, I just know when my anniversary come around, I need a plate from Dr.
Thank you. Miss Shirley said, come on back, guys. Come on.
Miss Shirley, this is how we do, though. This is how we do.
So my anniversary is August 23rd. So I need make sure y'all have my plates ready.
Hey, Facebooker. We don't do that on this. Get your orders on Facebook.
A mess. So where we were before we went down the rabbit hole, we're still talking about like traditions and how different generations, some are, open, some are not open. Some are like, okay, well, my children, grandchildren bringing these new ideas, can't start talking about having open doors. And then that's when the first rabbit hole door was opened by Daryl.
So I have a question. It wasn't me. But I have a question for you, Mary.
It's not far off.
Say it again, Doc.
I said the food issue is not that far off.
It's not.
If you have that value that no other woman should be cooking for your man,
that's a tradition.
And every time you turn around, his work wife is making him lunch.
Right, Doc.
Wait, stop.
That's right, Doc.
Let's take a step back, because traditional, where work wives come from. When did that become okay to have a work wife or work husband?
I just said that it could be any coworker that's bringing him food or her food on a regular basis.
No, I get it, but it's going back to even work wife, work husband in tradition. Like when traditional, like
they needed a caretaker during all of those long hours that they're away from work, and they got friendships that seem so accommodating. And then those friendships, when you begin to talk about what is occurring at home, or maybe you're not even talking about what's occurring at home, you guys are on a project and a team so much together, you begin to learn.
Mistress.
Yeah,
Sorry.
well, it's a lot of things. Your job could become the mistress without it even being a human person. You're searching on the social media can be the mistress. You go into the bowling league on Thursday night can be the mistress.
Gym, yeah.
So,
or the gym, absolutely.
Or the
Absolutely.
gym could be the mistress. So it ain't always got to be
games.
a person. Yeah, especially them video games. Good God. So it's like you have to understand. Well, it comes with the communication breakdown, possibly, because if you are not communicating what your needs are, again, previous show conversation, if you're not clearly saying what your needs are, is when you become open and vulnerable for somebody to
step in.
So let's go back to traditionally. Did a woman, when could she speak up and say she feels like something's wrong? Was that always something that could go down?
You want a calendar date and time?
Never mind.
I'm just asking. You want a calendar date?
I'm trying to say when. So, like, I was about to say, when you talked about it in your class, you said the 55 plus had a lot different views than was it 30?
I said 22 to 35.
22 to 35, and what was the other age? Was it
55 plus season?
Okay,
because it actually goes up to 70, I believe. But yes.
Okay, so there big gap.
Different perspectives.
Yeah, and it was very different for the 55 up than the 22 to 35, right? So
yep, and I was like, I'm always starting trouble.
So, but you get to see the traditional classes in your class, because this 55 plus were raised a lot differently than right now. Right now, and what we're going through and what we're seeing. So, that would be a great thing to ask in a class like that, where you have the, both ends of the spectrum. Because I think the 55 plus probably do have some solid traditions that they were raised on or, looked at or thought about, as opposed to, I'm very open. Okay.
Well, I would
open
say
to what?
55 and plus.
She's already mentioned how she's open to her grandchildren and stuff like that.
Got you. But I'm talking about as far as the tradition. So I wonder what the traditional values are from the 22 to 35. Like, what do they think? What traditions do they have, or what?
I don't think they.
I don't see many traditions being.
The
22
to 35.
I mean, outside 35? Of that, like, what is relationship to a relationship?
It has to be some traditions, because if you are rebelling what it is that you think is the foundation, like it's something that you are going opposite of, as if they are they reincarnated teenagers. They just rebelling what the structure is.
But what are they rebelling, or are they just doing whatever they think they're doing? Because there is nothing there. There are no walls. There are no structures. So you're just doing whatever you think you're doing, and what fits. So what's the wall? Are the walls open? I've been there. I've been to places where there's no walls.
Stay.
But
Pam.
See, that wasn't me. That was me. Listen. I'm behaving.
So I'm saying, like, I mean, for tradition, like, what is it like? Is it, I guess, the old, what I would think of as tradition is like opening the doors and, the man pays for dinner, like those type of things, right? But I don't see that. I don't see any of that anymore. So I don't know when we talk about traditions now. Like I said, I think it's, people come together and you try to figure it out. You try to figure what they want. I mean, how is it going to, how to navigate this meeting with this new person. Because, like, I don't know any.
But
like,
being an older,
you gotta do this. You gotta do this.
But to be an older millennial, it's more so about breaking tradition, like Mary talked about, going against the grain. But it's also, like you said, trial and error. It's a little bit of both. They start to create the structure as we get older.
And sometimes you gotta have a roller coaster moment and just break all rules, so you could live life on your terms, and then you be like, okay, I done did this for enough time. Now it's time for me to come back. Now, what am I going to come back to? And then you begin to redesign what's going to work for you, what's not going to work for you.
And that's what Ruth was talking about. She said she was raised by a traditional grandmother who believed in total submission, but then she had to create her own traditional norms for her and her husband.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you're not rebelling, and when you're creating your own, you're not doing something wrong. But if you're in a marriage,
it looks different. Yeah.
it looks different.
Right.
I mean, if you want a sustainable relationship that's, has meaning, it looks different because culture within one house, one team, one family, everybody can receive it differently and activate it differently.
That's very true.
Hence, we are evolving society.
Yeah.
So,
Things are different. People get married later. Like people used to get married younger. People are getting married a lot later now. The women are, more independent, doing their own things.
Having kids later, some
having kids later. Like it's a lot of times dating a woman is like dating another man when you go out because they're trying to do everything that you thought you were supposed to do. So it is a lot different. Like, roles are different, right? What a man's supposed to do and a woman's supposed to do, it's all convoluted now.
Yes,
roles
and that's why those
the same anymore.
Are so important
before you get married.
I think I may have mentioned this before. I was working with a couple, and the husband told the wife, I married you because you were independent. You could do things by yourself. You don't need me. And she said, well, I married you so I wouldn't have to.
Right.
Wow.
So those conversations are so important.
They're very important.
Mm-hmm.
And there they are.
She wants somebody to take over. Finally, she's like, finally, I can stop doing all this stuff. Finally.
Wow.
And that's
But she never stopped doing it. See, that's the problem. She never stopped doing it. She didn't allow him to do it.
Sometimes men don't know how.
Sometimes men don't what?
People don't know how. We've been together 17 years and stuff is just settling. Stuff is just taking place. Plus, women are more mature than men anyway.
No,
because they're more mature, or they want to pull their thing out and show who got the biggest penis.
To both of you all, because nobody talked about we evolve, in every season. So if every season, every 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, you got to sit back down and have that conversation on what it is that we look like, instead of having an argument or a debate. And what Doc was saying in regards to, he was waiting on somebody else to take control, that carries over. Like in every. Like if I'm the one that's always initiating, planning the dates, or if I'm the one initiating when we go on vacation, if I'm the one initiating when we're gonna put the candle on and go to the bathroom, I need somebody else to do that at one point. Like, why?
I'm confused. You're doing it. Wait a minute. I think we're people of we conditioned. So when you meet people, they're doing something, that's who they are, right? You're like, oh, they do that. Oh, she does that. Okay, she got it. She got it. You can't tell me 10 years later, I didn't want to have it when you were doing it. Like, you are auditioning the whole time we're interacting. And if you're getting it all the time and you're taking that place and you're taking the man's place, then that's what you're doing, right? That's just who we are. I mean, you can try to talk to a person and say, but women don't, like, they're so used to being independent. A lot of women just do. This is what it is.
Because we've been taught to do. We've been conditioned to always do.
Absolutely. I agree.
Right.
I agree.
So,
but when I meet you, and this is what you're doing, I like the person I meet. So if this is what you are, this is who you're presenting, then that's who I'm. I love her. I love you. Go ahead, keep putting the candle on there. Keep doing that. Lord. You did it.
Here I go.
You did. You made that bed. Now lie in it. Don't get I wanted you to step up. No, you didn't. You never let me step up.
Ooh. And that's another one. But let me tell you, when I let you step up, you step all the way up because I'm stepping all the way back. Let's get it popping. I'm in the game. I'm ready for it. Let's go.
Here we go.
You said this weekend at group 2 camp, you was like, are we gonna have, what was it, a second girlfriend or something? It was a second somebody. Yeah. And you was like, what do you want her to do?
Like, come on in. Let's clean. Let's cook. Let's handle these kids. Let's pay these.
He don't want her there to cook and clean. He don't want her there for that.
Why?
He got you for that.
Right.
He got her there. That's what he got there for you to do that. He got you for that. He want her for something else.
No, we ain't got cherry on top. That's what the maid is for. He paid for that. Let's get that twisted. I clean and cook.
No, you're the maid. The maid was already in home, and she was just getting on his nerves, so he had to get something outside.
I wasn't meant to be barefoot and pregnant, even though I got 3 kids. I was never meant to.
No. I want you to work. I don't want you to be barefoot nor pregnant. I want you to work. I need my side joint because you're busy. That's why you're working. If you don't need it, I need a side joint for that. That's what he needs.
Well, your side joint gonna end up being my side joint because I need to
Hey, you can have her too. Hey, listen, I don't need her every day. We can definitely share. I just need her on some days. Every day I got you too. I gotta give you some. I give her some. I'm not stingy. I'll share. You can have her on certain days. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, she's yours. And I give you Sunday.
Well, it works. Making a schedule.
Yeah, because
listen, you gotta talk to each other. Didn't you talk about communication, Miss Mary?
Now I gotta be Miss Mary. I ain't that much more seasoned than you. Come on now.
No, I'm just saying you.
I made that comment, but I think I made that comment because everybody think it's always about sex or the bedroom, and sometimes it ain't even about that. Because
what do you think it's about for a man? He wants another woman in the house to do what? Get on his nerves, to nag him? I'm pretty sure that's not what he wanted.
Everybody likes sex, of course, but every man.
Somebody told you to zip it, Daryl.
Yes, I want two of those in the house. I want two women to tell me to zip it. No, thank you. I want to unzip it on one.
In my household, if any side is coming in, it don't matter. If any other sides don't come in, you need to have value. You need to bring value. What are you bringing to the table? Because sex ain't all of what you need to be bringing.
Okay, so you're right. For you, you can whatever value you have. Okay, I have one value. She's coming for one reason. Okay, I'm letting you know for me what I'm needing. I don't care if she cook or clean. I just need to park this Big Mac truck in that little garage.
You crazy, girl. So basically you saying you're a monster truck and you need the right garage.
Wait a minute.
I'm gonna squeeze it to make I squeeze it to make it fit. You know what Biggie said?
A monster truck.
I squeeze it to make it fit.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna leave you alone.
I'm gonna get in there. We'll work it in there. It may take some time, but we're gonna get in there.
Oh my God.
But in terms of tradition, but yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, we got it. We got it.
I like that.
Hold your breath.
She said, "Big Mac to monster."
Yeah.
All right. I need to go up camera.
Why you falling out the chair again with your green cup?
Gone. Gone. It got hot over there. She started talking about that Big Mac truck got hot.
Lord.
I can see it. She put the ice right down her. She put the ice. She just poured ice in it.
Whatever. Anyway, let's stay on topic.
Look at her glasses getting steamy over there.
You can see all of that.
Exactly.
But to be honest, in the terms of tradition, some households have like 3 or 4 adults, or I guess people who co-parent. There's different types of traditions, and it's just a lot. It's just every household is so different. I don't see there being one main tradition in any household.
Yeah. Like you said, people are making their new traditions. Yes. I believe you're making your traditions. You get together and you make whatever it is that your relationship is going to look like. You're going to make your own traditions that fit your family, hopefully.
Yeah. And Shirley stated that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's real. That's what I said. Today, it's more like you meet someone and then you grow together and you guys, come together, collaborating each other, and your traditions are, I think, made that way. But I don't know what you're coming in with as far as your traditions. Because I mean, what we're seeing, I think, is what we're seeing and looking at, and we're gathering all information from different things. And I mean, where do you see good relationships today on TV, or there's anything good marketing good relationships, or where are we getting this good information from? I think that's why relationships are failing so much these days, because there's not much great information on relationships and how to treat each other. We got these housewives shows and these reality shows, and that's how we're emulating these things in our relationships. So that's why I said I just don't see great relationship values that are traditional. I just don't see that.
And when you talk about traditions, I think about now multi-family, like multi-generational household, where you have the parents, but the grandparents are living there and helping out, but how you raise your kids versus what they want to do, and you have boundaries. How do you? It's hard to keep a boundary with your parents about your own kids, but they're saying, this is how I raised you. This is what I want to do for my grandkid. And I'm caring for them while you're at work or whatever you're doing. So this
have a family meeting.
Right, having family meetings, but what if they keep breaking those? Like traditions are just different. Even that could be even harder. I think about that too.
Hey mom, hey mom, don't make me have to drop an elbow on your neck.
You know what?
Really?
I done told you, don't be yelled at my daughter.
Well, I just see a lot of my friends having these situations where they're like, even in the pandemic, oh, like, don't do this. This is what is acceptable. And the grandparents like, oh, I'm gonna take them. We're just gonna take a trip, but not tell the parent. Like, it's just certain things like boundaries are having to be reset.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm working with some folks who are from different cultures and different countries who are trying to reconcile that, you know, those quote unquote traditional values from where they come from versus what they're seeing here. What they're presented with here when they're trying to get into a relationship with someone.
Right. That's way different. That sounds like Friday morning at 9 o'clock.
Exactly. Friday morning at 9 o'clock. Yes. But that's when that would be you start trying to create your own. That's when you take as the facts of life say, you take the good, you take the bad, you take what
take them both, and there you have
what. That's right. You take what works for you, discard what doesn't, and apply it to your relationship. You can create your own.
Yes.
And you don't have to ask permission. Like you can just do it. Like it's working for you. And that's the thing, is that we always seek an approval for the choices that we have decided to make.
And that's the thing, when people like, you're so different. I say good, bad, and indifferent. There's a consequence to everything. I'm not indifferent to things. I feel as though you should just mind your own business. And whatever I choose to do, you could be like, oh, you don't do this with your kids. Do you pay the bills? Do you take care of them? Do you pace and walk at night? Were you in the hospital? Well, that means no. So what you say doesn't matter.
And that's true too. People do need to mind their own business.
Keeping the door open.
Huh?
I'm sorry, Daryl. She said she was keeping the door open. Now she's saying mind your business.
I can keep the door open with my own immediate family with communication, but with other people, that's a choice. If I'm choosing to bring you in, then that's different.
The thing is I've seen her tell people this in the workplace in the middle of a whole formal meeting, and she be like, and just how she just said it just right now, she just went right into that mode. That's personal. You ain't got to know nothing about. And that whole.
But that's how it should be. I mean, people need to stay in their lane. People are very intrusive these days. They ask you all type of questions that you're like, whoa, what's your name again? You know,
I don't know.
People are very intrusive.
Yes.
And you have to be comfortable enough to say, listen, why are you asking me that? Why do you feel comfortable asking me that? You know, get up away from me.
Yes, and not feel obligated to provide answers to people.
Absolutely.
But people
and defend yourself.
Yes, Doc.
Yeah.
Or sit there feeling uncomfortable answering a question that you know you shouldn't be answering.
Exactly.
But you feel like that's just crazy. Like, no, I'm gonna let you know, please. I like people that want people to ask me things like that, because I just like smacking them down. Like, what? What'd you say?
I think too, like the people who are whatever number it is that you identify as a seasoned age, having those conversations really can be a mutual learning opportunity.
Of course,
because you might not have had that opportunity when you were growing up to sit down and be like, okay, well, tell me about X, or tell me about Y. Whereas now, because their life has calmed down, and you're like emerging into, whatever, your perspectives are, it's good to be able to sit down and have that opportunity to speak with the seasoned folk around you.
I would agree with that.
You didn't have shoes? You weren't allowed to wear shoes?
Right. Right.
I would say
you didn't have no bank account. The mattress was the bank account. And
absolutely.
Every time
he would leave for 3 days and not come back. Really? And stay?
Yes, that kind of stuff. Every time I talk about this subject,
I don't need to hear that.
Eddie Murphy
bad advice.
Where he talked about he married the girl from the Africa on the zebra, and then the neighborhood women talk about you could get half.
Half. I wouldn't have, Eddie.
Oh my God.
And that wasn't even her value. At first, her value was like, you do what your husband say.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like you said, remember that he said, Janet Jackson's new song about what have you done for me lately?
Yes.
Did you say new song?
Huh?
You said new song?
No,
That's when Eddie Murphy said at the time, Janet Jackson's new song was talking about what have you done for me lately?
I thought you had reverse time real quick. I was gonna be like her new song.
It just shows you how your environment can change how you
very quickly.
Yes, how you think about your situation.
Absolutely. Your environment is really what produces you a lot of times, right? You know, you are a product of your environment. And as you grow different environments, I think you can change still being around certain things, certain people, because you definitely adapt some of their, sometimes some of their, we'll say traditions or qualities or values. And that's when that's when I think people get in trouble, when you start trying to do things that are outside of what you feel to be real. You know what I mean? You're trying to live someone else's life. That's the problem. And I see a lot of that. And that's the problem with all the social medias and things of that nature. People are living people's lives
but we know
and trying to emulate them.
Right.
Well, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't know them in real life.
Yeah, some people don't know the difference.
They know the difference, and they're like, "Oh, this person on Facebook, they're so happy. Why don't we do that?" Like, what?
Yeah, they got a black. I shouldn't say that, but yeah.
Yeah.
They don't know the difference.
That's the other thing with
goals. Like, why is that goals? Like, what?
Right.
Why is that?
Right. So Shirley has a question: should she change now that she's older?
No, you comfortable in
who you are.
You stay in it.
No. So again, we should always progress. Right? We should always mature and learn and grow, right? We never stay the same and stagnant. I'm not saying change all your values. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying we should be growing. We should be progressing. We can't stay where we were. Like if I'm the same person I was 5 years ago, then it's a problem with me. I'm stale. I'm stagnant, right? So again, not saying you want to compromise your views but I'm saying grow and learn. And that learning may give you a different outlook on things. Again, you may not change, but you may be able to accept or, okay, well, this is what they believe. Or now I understand what they believe. Or I understand it. Because a lot of times we go from a point of ignorance, just not knowing. And we have these things in our head that are preconceived and we don't really know. And when we sit down and get a full picture of certain things, it may look a lot differently
than we thought. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, Ruth, you're right. That was a good point I made.
I do. I agree with that too.
I agree with Ruth. That was a great comment, Ruth. That was a real great comment.
But I on the other side, I feel like if you're comfortable where you are, then that's okay too. Like you don't have to change, or if you feel there's no need to grow, then so be it. As long as, because everybody grows in their own pace. So if you have, someone else might feel like you need to grow in a certain area and you feel like, hey, I'm fine here. Who are they to determine your growth or your process?
But in a relationship, then you have to decide if it's becoming a mismatch.
Right.
So it does. You do have to come back to the table with that.
Exactly. That's true. But if you're, go ahead.
Come back to the table and compromise.
No, I just said the growth is not. Let's not make growth a negative thing. Let's not that. Let's just saying to progress, to learn. Again, we should always be learning. We should always be growing. We don't ever want to just say I'm cool. Right? I made it to the top level. I made it to. I want to go this. I just want to go this height. No, we should always
But some
continue
people
to
are
learn,
there,
right?
Daryl. Some people
want to stay where they at.
Some people
okay, cool. That makes sense where you're at. I get it. I understand. You only learn so much, and then you're good. That makes sense. So for me and most people who most well-read people, you want to continue to learn and continue to grow. Because if you're stuck in last year, you're like, well, I only make it to last year, then you missed all this year. You're not growing, right? Growing just helps you stay in the know of what's going on so you can even be in the conversation. If you can't even be in a conversation, you're left behind. So either you grow or you're left behind. And a lot of people get left behind because they just don't want to grow. They want to stay in their ignorance. And that's not, you don't want to stay in your ignorance. You want to continue to push yourself and to grow. Again, I'm not saying change your morals and values. I'm not saying that. Know what you're talking about. You know, if someone comes to you and asks you a question and you're like, you don't know anything about it, but like, I don't like that. That's just stupid. So how can you speak to something with any type of that you know nothing about? How can you speak to it, right? So everything you have to be able to know about things to speak about it. So growing is something that I think we're beings that we want information. We want to gather information. And there are some people like, you know what? I'm cool where I'm at. The people are stagnant. They're not going anywhere. You're stuck. So if you want to be stuck. But for me, I want to continue to grow and know things. Yeah, it could be fearful or maybe not knowing how to.
And I think. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Daryl.
No, I would say even in this room, these conversations we're all growing, right? Just by having conversation with each other, we're growing. We're learning different things, learning about different people. We're learning about different aspects of things. Like, women do that? I didn't know they could wear shoes. Like, these are things that we're learning in this conversation.
Wait. Pause. Did you just say I didn't know they could wear shoes?
Yes,
the mic off right now, Mary.
But now you're not kindred spirits.
No, no.
So no, I'm just saying. But even everybody on the show that's listening is learning. We're all growing. At the end of the day, we're going to challenge some of your value, from some of the things you believed or thought. Again, we're growing by this time. Every week I get on here, I learn something, right? I'm growing just by talking to you ladies, right? And even some of the comments people make are some of the comments you guys make are okay. Some people, I mean, every now and then, but so that's what I mean is growing. Just again, that's what I'm saying. Just growing, just being in the know, being able to converse about something so you can speak about it. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
I get you.
Mm-hmm.
But so every morning you wake up, you evolve, because some people want to be a little bit more positive, think a little different, and that's how I think about it, a day at a time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Bro. Look at that.
Love you.
Look at that. But that's real, and that's what I'm saying, and that's what I mean by growing. Just learning about things and just being in the know, so that you just know what's going on.
I get it.
By not knowing things, that's how you get the wool pulled over your eyes.
That is an issue that often bring couples to therapy. One person is growing, and the other person is fine, right where they are.
Like you're not 95 anymore. Why you got them baggy pants on?
And I want to say, here we go. I know that I think I'm a very good example of that issue right there. Where one party is, ready for new growth, whereas the other one is like really complacent where they are. And, again, if you don't bring it to the table, that can be the downfall of your marriage. And I truly believe that was the key to the downfall of my marriage, because I have always been, the busy person, always doing something different, always wanting to learn something different, whereas, and honestly, again, I said this before, what kind of attracted me to him was the fact that he was so, and not as a dig, but simple-minded, complacent,
Steady.
I'm sorry?
Steady.
Yes, steady. Whereas it's like, no, I need to do some, I need to learn more. I need to do this. I need to do
So you
that.
kind of outgrew him. Is that what happened? You outgrew him?
Yes. And I couldn't push him, no matter what it was to that I suggested, okay, well, let's try this, or can't you're good at this, or whatever, but it was still making me feel stagnant,
Yeah,
and for
absolutely.
a very long time. And so I was at that place where I just felt like I did my role as a mom, and as a wife took priority, but I was really suppressing what it is. Right, exactly.
You need a breath of fresh air. I understand.
Yes, yes. So that does, become a problem. Like, Miss Ruth said,
like not growing to me is like almost like having an anchor around your neck, right? If you're saying you're cool where you're at, you're stuck, right? You can't go forward if you're saying that. You how can you move forward when you're saying I'm good where I'm at? I've got to where I want it to be. Okay, cool. If that's the case, how can you move forward? How could you move forward? You're stuck there,
right?
And that's not okay.
You got to the goal. Now what?
Yep.
Well,
absolutely.
It was a couple of months ago. We kind of had this conversation. How can you come back together if you and your mate or partner grow apart? And I thought about that. I've always played that in my head from when Doc said that then months ago. And I think about how I'm at this point where I'm just like, I believe in compromise and all that, but to suppress who I am in my life, in my life, I know we married, I know we life partners and all that, but if I begin to suppress that, I'm gonna suppress other stuff, and it brings on resentment sometimes in a marriage or relationship. And I think, you know what?
Absolutely.
Do what you gotta do. We still together. We still cool. We're gonna make this work. We gonna do what we want to do. Like, I think it, like, for me, it works because I feel like I only got one life, and you can't give me like more years from your life. If I'm doing everything to suppress myself, that's not gonna work. I only got one life to live. I don't know how long it is, but I need to do what I need to do, like my patience, whatever that is that I've been called to do. Because my life purpose may not be a life purpose, even though, as people say, you're one. That's great and all, but you can't do that. So I'm all about living out your life and your passions, however that goes.
Right.
Whether you're not, and we'll find a way to get back to each other, to reconnect, to do what we need to do as a family.
Right.
That's hard.
It is. It is.
It's like you outgrow each other at different stages, and then you still gotta connect.
Right. That's why the communication, or even if you try to have a check-in.
You know what,
girl?
That's why you have what? What do you say?
That's why you need an extra.
I'm just trying to help keep the relationship together.
What I said was going to help keep the relationship together. You have a check-in, relationship check-in, just periodically with each other.
You can do that too.
As well as coming to see someone like Doc and myself to just be able to say, okay, listen, like, we need to kind of realign, find out, what is happening and where we're going. And I know that call usually comes a lot. Like, okay, we've had children, the children have gone, and we're just trying to see like what it is that we're going to do moving forward. Yeah. And how can we reconnect? Because people lose that connection when the children and other things are distracting.
And I was like, I'm not going to be married to a roommate. I can move my girlfriend in.
I call it roommate.
I can move my girlfriend and pay bills. That's right. I'm not doing a roommate.
Right. Roommate sharing the same bed. That's not good.
Yeah.
Nah, they can go to the guest bedroom if you're a roommate. Yeah. Don't come knocking on my door at 2 a.m.
That's a difference.
I'm coming collecting. No, the roommate is gonna come collecting. It's the bills that need to be paid.
The bill needs to be paid.
No.
Yeah, you ain't collecting here.
No.
Anything under this was mine.
Yeah. Okay. See? That's why you
know. That needs to be a whole conversation. Do you become property in your relationship?
Oh Lord, that
yes. If I got papers on you,
no. I am never property.
I got papers on you.
Mary.
No.
I got papers on you.
Ooh, I can't curse. Woo, Gina. Ain't no papers.
I got papers on you. You signed the dotted line. I'm coming down the hall.
Papers on you too. 6 feet under. We gonna investigate them papers.
That might be a nice segue to the next conversation.
Okay.
I'm just saying, we got papers on you, so it's certain things that happen.
Don't start no.
Like I got the title to my car.
So we talking about? Do you own your partner?
Yeah.
Right.
Huh?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Her body is not hers.
As Mr. Samuel say, you know, your asset value.
Listen, like he said, yes, don't overestimate your value.
Ooh,
Again,
that's another topic.
Don't overestimate your value.
Don't overestimate your value. The women come in with an overinflated sense of self at times.
Do our followers have any topics that they want us to talk about? You know.
Yes.
Listen,
we can always bring those topics up because women do have this over.
We will talk about it.
And we might even invite you to come on the panel and talk about the topic that you
for the right price. You can come on the panel for the right price. Okay.
Can love keep a relationship?
Okay.
And what is love these days? Can love keep a relationship?
Can love keep a relationship?
Mm-hmm.
It can, as long as I got a side joint. Listen, the side joint takes care of a lot of stuff, right? Listen, that's the extra piece sometimes.
Boundaries in your relationship.
Or are you saying side chicks bring value? That's what you're trying to say?
They do. They do. Hey, when the girl home get on your nerves, you go release. You can come back and you take it. It's like gonna leave. Huh?
The cleanup woman?
That's what she is. I mean, she can't get no position. She can't get no official position, but she could be in some positions.
Or the office closet before cousin Rona.
Exactly. Listen, look, I'm doing that to help my wife out because I gotta come home hear this. I don't want to argue. If I doesn't release, I ain't got nothing to argue about. She cussing me out. I'm like, you're right. I ain't no good. I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm gonna take a shower and go to sleep. Yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep. That just saved the marriage.
Okay. So you got any closing remarks or nuggets that they want to share in regards to the intergenerational perspective on the rights and the wrongs of a relationship?
I do, but they could possibly. I'll tell you later, but yeah.
Oh goodness.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Okay. I'm not sure. Any closing remarks or have we shared our closing remarks by asking if we have papers, we become property and stuff like that?
Yes.
I mean, that's when you sign a contract, usually it's for a reason. Ownership.
Wow. You know what, Daryl?
When you sign the birth certificate, that means that's your child, right?
No, that means
it's for identification purposes.
The government's property for him to track you all through.
When you sign the birth certificate for a man, when you sign the birth certificate, that's taking ownership of that child.
Oh my God.
So when you sign that contract, I'm taking ownership of my wife, and I'm coming down the hall. You keep talking, but I'm coming down the hall when I feel like it.
It's a shame because to an extent, there's some truth to it.
Thank you.
When you're in a hospital, they be like, "Oh, you're Mr. Daryl. What's your last name again?"
Daryl. Mr. Daryl.
Mr. Daryl. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's like you here again,
Mr. Daryl. Your wife, which is property. They do treat you that. Our society,
absolutely.
Our the medical industry, the legal industry, everybody.
Absolutely.
But that's another topic. I can vouch for that. I went through a divorce.
You're Mrs. Daryl.
I have a closing.
Yeah, you Mrs. Daryl.
There it is. I got papers on you.
No, hell no. But go ahead.
My statement is make sure you build your own traditions based off of what you feel is right in your life and with your partner and what works for you and your partner.
No, go to some old traditional bit. I want traditional. I want traditional. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Building traditions lead to building legacies.
That's good. That was good.
Drop the mic.
I
just want to add on that
everybody your shoes on here.
So
That's
while you're building
remark.
your own traditional values, you have to stand up for yours, but also learn to respect others.
I ain't gonna stand up with no shoes on.
You know what?
I was gonna say something, but I'm gonna be nice today.
No, don't be nice.
Save it for the green room camp. Save it for the green room.
We're talking about traditional. Let's go back to the 1950s. Where you guys not allowed to have no money, no bank accounts, you ain't allowed no friends. They took you away from your families most of the time.
Daryl, do you have closing remarks?
I had a girlfriend across the street.
Thank you, Miss Ruth.
Mute him. Just mute him.
You got closing remarks?
No.
I don't either. I just want to thank those who have been with us tonight, as well as who will catch us on the replay. We are here each and every Friday night, bringing you relationships from a variety of different perspectives and our comedy, that goes along with that. So we appreciate you, and we will continue to keep on rocking. Before we do go, I want to show a little bit of our background. Let me see. We got a new background. Y'all see the Sips in the chat?
Yeah.
In the chat.
Love
it.
So if you want to see how it goes down throughout the week, feel free to come on into the room of Relationship Flow. And until then, we'll catch you on the flip side. Have a safe week.
Good night.
Good night.
Oh, wait, I guess you could say something before we go. Did you want to say
treat
something?
Men on this program. See how they treat men on this program? It's a very sexist panel, and they treat men differently. I need other men.
We're nurturing
not okay.
you. Nurturing.
Nobody's nurturing
you. You're back on mute. Goodbye.